Do you like basketball? Basketball dong. I like, but I'm not good at. Yes, I'm not.
Me too.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the State of the League podcast, the only NBA podcast that talks about every NBA team every week. If you're subscribed to the Patreon, this is this week's free episode, and if you subscribe to the Patreon, you'll get all of the Western Conference stuff that's happening this week. And considering how exciting LeBron James' big comeback, Wembanyama versus Chet, we're not talking about any of that shit in this episode. We're talking about the East today. So, yeah, I'm Jack, Jokic Joestar, you know it. With me as always, the world famous Pablo Escobar. Pablo, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. We're lag free today. We have a new tech change. We had consulting come in, and now things are going better.
I know we had our IT HR media person come in, aka my girlfriend, and shout out to Lady Joestar. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe just having a laptop for 8 years is too long. Maybe I need to upgrade, but maybe more people need to subscribe to the Patreon for something like that to be on the table. I think that's probably the most realistic course forward. You ready to jump into this? Do you have any overarching thoughts about the Eastern Conference right now?
No, we should jump in because I was actually looking at the Bill Simmons subreddit last night, and there was this guy who was really mad that basketball podcasts like talk a little bit about their lives and stuff, like non-basketball. He's like, I hate this. This is the worst. And then someone replied, and they were like, that's why I listen to the Dunked On podcast with Nate Duncan. They only talk basketball. Do you know that podcast? Have you listened to that?
No, I never have.
They are very smart guys, Nate Duncan and Danny LaRue. But they are just, it's like taking a class. It's like a lecture. It is just great basketball. I was like, oh my God, this guy's intense.
Yeah, damn. That shout out to that guy. Sorry, you're not going to like this podcast. Try as we might, if we like set out with the intention to purely talk basketball, I think that would probably last about 30 minutes. Yeah, my taste in podcasts, I like informative podcasts, but it needs to be like snuck to me. I need to be a dog taking a pill. It needs to be coated in like a peanut butter cover of humor and things like that. Maybe a couple non sequiturs. All right, jumping right into the East. The Boston Celtics 4-0. Oh, shocker. Holy shit. Fucking surprised. The Boston Celtics are still really good. They're 4-0 in their last four, midst of a 9-game win streak. None of these wins have even been particularly close. They just beat the shit out of everybody this week. The Sixers win. It was pretty close for a little while, but Boston withstood a tough first half to steadily pull away in the second half. I got in some beef on Twitter with the entire city of Boston because Luka dropped in the MVP rankings in the ladder today after February where he went like 8-3 and averaged like a 34-point triple double on crazy efficiency with pretty much no turnovers. And everyone's just like, well, maybe he should try winning games like Tatum, because Tatum's like fourth and Luka's fifth now. And I had some problems with that. Yeah, I know. I was like, what the fuck?
Wait. So is Jokic 1, Shea is 2? Who's 3?
Giannis.
Okay.
Which I'd probably have Luka third right now. Like, damn, I maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the 7 seed or whatever he's at is just like a really hard barrier for people to overcome. But holy fuck, like he's been cooking lately, and the fact that he dropped because they dropped 2 games, that really shocked me. But let me stop hating. The Celtics are good. Tatum's good. What do you think about Boston right now?
Kendrick Perkins has a lot of sway, I guess. He come out and say, or was it him that said Tatum needs to be in the MVP race, or is that Stephen A? I don't know. Oh wait, no, he said Sabonis needs to be in the MVP race.
Yeah, he did. Big boy. Oh yeah, because I was like, oh, now he likes white people. Okay, this adds up. Oh, I see your shit. Okay, yeah. Shout out Kendrick Perkins.
We're the only NBA podcast brave enough to call out white oppression in media.
The oppression of the white man, dude, it's rampant in sports media. I tell you what, holy fuck. Yeah, I don't really have that much written down
Yeah,
about Miami.
they're pretty static at this point. There was versus the Sixers, they took less than 23 pointers, which has been like we've talked about. Everyone's talked about like they're a pretty 3-point reliant team, so people had some worries about that. But they didn't need it to beat the Sixers. And he says the Celtics offensive system is all about taking what the defense gives them to find the best shots. He said, I don't love threes, I love great shots. And that's how the great coaches think. But yeah, did you hear they were playing he was playing Mozart at their practice?
Missoula?
Yeah.
This guy is so weird. Oh my god.
Yeah, he is apparently played Mozart. With no talking allowed because it was like a rhythm thing. And it was an article on the Celtics Insiders, and then there was also they also played with like crowd noise pumped in. That doesn't
Okay.
seem crazy to me, but the Mozart is cool. So that's going to be a really cool part of the documentary when they release it.
I was just about to say that. I was gonna say that's like such an example of coaching aura mattering because like if Phil Jackson was running Mozart practices in the late 90s
Oh
with the
man.
I'd be like, oh my god, this is so like he's a visionary, holy shit. And you told me, oh, Joe Mazzulla, they couldn't talk and they were listening to Mozart. I'm like, okay, fucking dorks. Oh my god, nobody's trying to go to that practice, holy shit.
And then if you hear like Steve Clifford is doing that, you're like he's about to kill them. The Celtics might get Otto Porter Jr. He's a candidate to be bought out by the Utah Jazz. Known NBA champion Otto Porter Jr. You know, I think he's still only 29, which is really
he's
crazy.
incredibly young for having such like a long known name. He's been around forever.
And he's a guy who got a max early on, and he was like people were like, Otto Porter Jr. is a max player. I'll tell you what, peak Otto Porter Jr. was really, really good. And there was like a few weeks where he got traded to the Bulls, and he was like our best scorer, passer, defender, everything. He went God mode, and then his like foot fell off, and then he never played again, and then everyone hated him. And also he looks like Lionel Richie, but he gave the Warriors some good minutes. I don't know how many good minutes he has left in him at this point, but if he's fully healthy, that's could be a little bit interesting. The Celtics are delaying their decision on their final roster spot, the 15th spot, to see if a need will arise because of injury. But a league source said it was unlikely that the team would look to bring back Mike Muscala, but nothing has been ruled out. But what's it called? This was interesting to me because Nehemias Queta is apparently not guaranteed to get that last spot. If I'm the Celtics, I'm locking up Nehemias Queta. Get Nehemias Queta in here. But yeah, that's all I have on the Celtics.
Okay. I remember I also read I think it's like a couple of people are really trying to get Blake Griffin to come back to the Celtics, maybe like Derek White.
For a ring?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, some other person, but Blake Griffin's got to be tired from going from Brooklyn to Boston, two places where like when you settle there, you're like, oh, I've got a real shot to win the title here. Like this is like it's not the 2017 Warriors or anything, but like I got a real chance here. And then for both of those teams, Boston's fine, but the way that Brooklyn ended, oh, that would take a couple years off my life if I'm Blake Griffin. Because like you show up and you're like, I know I was an MVP level guy. I know I was an all-star, but now I'm here. I'm ready to do the dirty work. And Kyrie's like, have you seen this fucking movie? And just like everything falls apart just when you're ready to like lock in as a teammate. So yeah, shout out Blake Griffin. Shout out the Celtics. Mild hater, little bit of hate in my heart for the Celtics. I don't love the Celtics.
Oh, me too, for sure.
They are good. Like, yeah, I'm never gonna be like, oh, fuck, the Celtics won, woohoo, yippee.
If you're a Celtics fan, are you praying that? So the Heat, I think, are the 8th seed right now. Do you want to see them early on before they can build up their mojo, or
rip the fucking Band-Aid off? That's
let
what I'm
someone
saying.
else get them out of there first?
It'd almost be more intimidating to like see them like take out the Bucks again or something. And just like you see it on the horizon, it's like this fucking bullet train coming at you, and you're like, oh God, it's getting
It's
bigger.
like in a horror movie, you're running through and closing all the doors, and someone's slamming through them.
Yeah. Shout out to the old X-Men movies when Juggernaut was running through all the walls trying to catch the girl who could go through the walls. I'm
Kitty
the
Pryde.
Juggernaut. Yeah. Kitty Pryde. Boom. That's why you guys come to this fucking podcast. Pop
Could
culture.
Diana Silvers play her in a live action movie? Well, she might be 35 by the time they start filming, so maybe not. This is a real discussion I saw.
Oh, okay. The timelines are all weird in those movies. So a 35-year-old could be in high school. I don't know. I'm not. Maybe she has a weird mutant gene. Speaking of weird mutant genes, teams that have two big guys with weird mutant genes, the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're 2-2 in their last 4 wins over the Wizards and the Mavericks, losses to the Sixers and the Bulls. No Donovan Mitchell versus the Philadelphia 76ers. The highs of Max Strus's 60-foot game winner quickly squashed by the lows of a double OT loss to the Chicago Bulls. What do you think about Cleveland right now?
I'll tell you what, that game winner, the second farthest game winner in NBA history. Wow. I don't know what's number one. Do you know what number one is?
It's Devontae Graham's. Remember Shea hit like a weird, like sideways 35-foot 3-pointer to tie it up against the Pelicans a couple years ago. And then in like the last second and a half, Devontae Graham essentially shot it from his own free throw line and banked it in. It's a crazy shot. It's not quite Max Strus's isn't quite as good, but they're in the same tier. It's fucking wild.
Man, Pelicans legend Devontae Graham.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the loss to the Bulls was bad because we demolished them on the boards. We had 1 million rebounds. They had negative 40 rebounds.
Andre Drummond, baby.
Yeah, so that's not a great sign for a team that's how you got beat last year, kind of. But also you had this massive winning streak. You went on a massive winning streak without 2 of your best players because you rolled with the shooters. You rolled with Niang, you rolled with Dean Wade, you rolled with Sam Merrill. Why on the second night of a back-to-back in a game that goes double overtime, why is Sam Merrill not playing? Why is Niang and Dean Wade getting low minutes? It's bizarre. It's like what did you think was happening, Bickerstaff?
They're like
we're during the streak.
We're trying to narrow down our playoff rotation. We're actually going to take out all the guys who were winning us basketball games. Perfect. Yeah, I said kind of a slow start post All-Star break for the Cavs, especially when you contrast it with like the very dominant way they entered the All-Star break with like 18-2 record or whatever it was. Because in addition to the Bulls loss, it was way closer against the Wizards than it should have been. Jordan Poole went for like 31 in that game, and it ended up being a 1-possession, 2-possession game for most of the fourth quarter. And I mean, the Wizards shot themselves in the foot. You're not really at risk of losing there, but like that's a 6th spot where maybe get a little extra rest for when you need to go double overtime in a couple days or something like that. In their last 5, Cleveland is 17th in net rating, 17th in defensive rating, and 19th in offensive rating. Donovan Mitchell has failed to score 20 in the Wizards game and the Bulls game. Garland is shooting 51% true shooting over the last 4. Their most used lineup since the All-Star break is Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, and Allen. It's got a defensive rating of 112 and an offensive rating of 104. And so I don't know. I've got more questions about the Cavs. Is that streak? Are they that kind of team? Will that maintain? Is that who they are? Because I don't have that question about a team like the Clippers. I feel very confident in my core that like they are that caliber of team. But once you start examining, there's a lot of home games in this Cleveland run. They were seeing like the Wizards and the Nets and the Hawks at home a lot, or just in general teams that weren't the highest quality. And you don't like stumble your way to 18-2, and there were good wins in there. But I think there's a lot still up in the air about this Cleveland team that I'm excited to see, but it still needs to be seen.
it's just becoming more and more clear to me. I think that the Mobley Allen pairing is not going to work out because of the offense. Because like even putting them aside, you got to give Donovan Mitchell space to operate. A big reason why he was tearing everybody up is because he had all the shooters around him, and that's very like that's that seems simple. That seems simple. Give Donovan Mitchell space, and he's gonna tear everybody up. And so I don't know why. If I'm JB, I might be like I might go crazy with it. I might just like have Donovan Mitchell, the shooters, and Jared Allen, and then have Garland and Mobley come off the bench.
Yeah, that's what I was
know
gonna say.
there's obviously human elements here, and there's people who would be upset about this, so that probably won't happen. But that seems to me like that could be crazy.
Well, because like it does sound simple. Donovan Mitchell plus shooters and Jared Allen in like the dunker spot and everything. It's not as simple when you're like, okay, to reach that spot, we do have to bench our number 3 overall pick and the guy who was an all-star for us 2 years ago. And so when you add that into the equation, there's a lot of people who could get upset, even from like a front office standpoint. And if you like make a pretty polarizing decision like that and shit doesn't work out, then you talk about guys wanting to keep their jobs and shit like that. That's not necessarily something that would make a front office have faith in their head coach being like, oh, why'd you bench this? I know this guy's name. He's a good player. Why'd you bench this good player? And it's like, well, him and Jared Allen aren't really that good together. They don't maximize what the other person does super well. And so I'm on board with you there. It's just like the streak almost made it more difficult because it's like we just saw this recipe for incredibly high level basketball with Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell and all these guys. But if you had to pick one, if you have to pick one, you have to imagine they're going to pick like the lottery pick who still has all this tremendous upside while being, I think he's worse than Jared Allen right now, but it's not like Jared Allen blows Evan Mobley out of the water. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do after this season. And the Donovan Mitchell to New York rumors have quieted down a little bit, and I think for good reason. I don't think he would be in like a way better spot if he ended up on the Knicks or the Nets. But yeah, I'm just a little bit up in the air about Cleveland at this moment.
I saw Windhorse. I saw like reports. They're like NBA Insider throws water on the Donovan Mitchell to Knicks fires. And I watched the clip, and he was just like, I don't think he wants to go to the Knicks anymore. I just get that vibe. I just think the Cavs are good. I'm like, you're not reporting anything, and everyone's taking this as like we're saved. And he was saying like, I bet he's looking over at Jalen Brunson, and he's like, man, I wish that was me. That's sad, but now I'm okay. I'm like, what? But yeah, I think, yeah, the Cavs have all the pieces to be successful. They're just not they're not shuffling the chessboard correctly. Get Magnus in here.
Get Magnus in here. Get 16 beers and Magnus Carlsen in here, and we'll really see what can cook. Fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, let's see if Windhorst has those vibes. Like the Cavs rip off like a 2-8 run or something, and Windhorst is like, just get those vibes. He's really happy here.
Something is happening. What did he?
What could he mean by that, or whatever it was? What is going on in Minnesota? What's going on in Milwaukee? That's the real question. The Bucks 4-0 over the last 4. Absolute gauntlet of a schedule. Hornets twice, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. Minnesota's a great win. Minnesota's obviously the strongest win here. Really great third quarter in that Minnesota game where they outscored the Wolves 36-13, and Rudy Gobert was the only player from Minnesota who made more than one shot in that corner. Over the last 15 games, hush, hush, quiet, quiet. Bucks have risen to, I think it's like 3rd in defensive rating. Not over the course of the whole season, but in those last 15 games, they're 3rd in the league in defensive rating. So as the Doc Rivers era stretches forward and forward more and more, the defense kind of settles into an actual scheme as opposed to with Adrian Griffin. It almost seemed like they were reacting to what the other team was doing well on a night-to-night basis. Like it didn't seem like they had something, like Giannis said, they were trying to take away every night, and so that's good. The offense has regressed in those last 15 games. It's ranked 15th, so that's, I don't know. I would like to, if I have two players as good as Giannis and Dame, I would like the floor of my offense to still be really high level, not just average. So what do you think about Milwaukee?
Yeah, they're undefeated since the All-Star break. It's I was listening to the Thinking Basketball podcast, and Ben Taylor and Cody, they both agreed. They're like, I don't think anything tactically has changed at all since Doc Rivers has come in. So it is funny. So the defense is better. It's the number one defense over the past 4 games.
Shit.
And it might literally just be down to effort. Personality merchant Doc Rivers. He might be getting everyone
He's
to
too
play
nice.
harder.
Yeah, damn. Okay.
And I know Damian Lillard has been like trying a little harder in defense. I saw like a little defensive mix of him versus the Sixers. He was making some things happen. And so maybe everyone's just bought in. They're playing better. Pat Connaughton has started making shots. He's shooting over 44% from 3 over the last 9 games. Pat is back. But yeah, that back-to-back against Hornets wins. That's good stuff.
That's good stuff. Someone's got to play them.
Someone's gotta.
I don't make the schedule.
And you know what? They were surging before then. The trade man Grant Williams Hornets. We got to remember they were on a run. But yeah, they beat Minnesota. That was a good win. And then what's it called? They're 19-0 when Dame shoots over 50%. Wow.
I mean, that's not surprising. It just doesn't happen enough. His splits are so terrible this year. It jars me every time I go to his fucking page. I'm like, 44-32 splits for Damian Lillard. What the hell is going on in Milwaukee? I'll tell you what, he's sad. He had some sad quotes.
He's in his blue era.
Yeah. He's in the crib listening to Mitski, thinking about the kids. Yeah, he said he really has no life in Milwaukee, and that life in Milwaukee is quite lonely, which, first of all, you got to feel, if you're Doc Rivers, that's a little jarring, but at least you're not Adrian Griffin. Like, if he says that in the Adrian Griffin era, it's like, holy fuck, Dame's going to retire. But Doc Rivers, personality merchant, maybe he can get him to stick around, no problem. But they are just, those quotes made me feel bad because the divorce must be tough for Dame, and he can't see his kids, and there's not shit to do in Milwaukee. He's just watching YouTube all day.
And he had apparently like all of his friends out there too. Like literally everyone was in Portland.
That makes sense. I mean, he was there for like 10 years, 8 years.
Well, 2012 draft, I think.
Okay. So I'm confident saying 10 years. 10 years, man. Yeah, long time in Portland. So sorry, Dame. Hope you figure it out. Hope Milwaukee grows on you a little bit. I said, to be honest, the conference finals is still totally in play for this Bucks team, especially season ends today. They get Orlando in the first round, and then they play the winner of Cleveland and Indiana, which we just talked about. Cleveland, it's not like a foregone conclusion that they're going to fall apart in the postseason, but as far as like second round draws go, especially in this NBA with how much talent there is, the Cavs are not a horrible draw for a team that has Giannis and has Dame and everybody. So I think the road to them making the conference finals, it's there. I don't know if they're going to do it, but it's not completely out of the question.
They probably got to avoid Miami because if like they probably have to be a momentum team. Like they have a really good first round series. Like Dame feels like himself, and they slowly build up versus just walking in day one across from Jimmy and Bam, who are locked. So that might not be the best situation.
Jimmy's been taking fucking psychedelics and staring in the mirror for a month and a half, being like, I'm that fucking guy. I'm that fucking guy. His pupils are different sizes, and he gives you 45 points in the second game. That's scary shit, man.
Pat Bev is renting Coach Bud's old place in Milwaukee.
Damn. Every every coach got that cuck chair. I don't know, something like
Oh,
that. There's a meme in there somewhere. Lobbyist
I'm
lobbyist.
unaware of it, so that was crazy.
You know, it's like a stupid Snapchat that's been deep fried like 10 times. It's just like a picture of the corner of a hotel with like that chair that has like every hotel has a
Oh.
chair in the corner. It just says every hotel got that cuck chair. Um and so yeah, maybe I don't know. There was the pieces there for a joke, but I'm not quite smart enough to put them together. We have a lobbyist request for the Bucks.
Oh.
AJ Green, baby. He's locked down and he's a great shooter. Per 36, 17 points on 42% from 11 3-point attempts per game. Unfortunately, only 9 minutes per game right now. I do think he's good when you watch the Bucks and he gets run. He's a guy that kind of stands out to you as like a hustle, grit and grind type guy. I think lineups that feature him and Pat Connaughton kind of do similar things, but they're things that you could have two guys out there doing at once. So I would be kind of interested in that. But at the same time, Doc Rivers has a bit of an aversion to young guys, it feels like, especially this late in the season when you're really trying to like narrow down your playoff rotation and everything. And he's only like 24, 20. It's definitely just his second year in the league. I know that much. But shout out to AJ Green, lobbyist requests. So you got any final thoughts on Milwaukee?
They had Sam Merrill. They shouldn't have let him go, but AJ Green's fine too.
He's fine too. Sorry, guys. If you could have had Sam Merrill, he slipped through your fingers. Now you're looking at what could have been in Cleveland, not Milwaukee. New York, the New York Knicks. They are missing two of their three best players, and they're missing them pretty dearly. 1-3 in their last four. 3 double-digit losses to the Celtics, Warriors, and the Pelicans, and then a very, very narrow win over the Pistons. The Pistons win set the precedent. I never want to see anything called in like a loose ball late game situation ever again. DiVincenzo tackled Asar Thompson. I don't know if you caught that clip, but it was pretty rough. So that's the precedent. It's been set. I want it to get really fucking gritty in the closing seconds of a game when there's a sequence like that. If somebody has a knife, well, who am I to tell them that they can't use that? Where does it say in the rule book that a dog can't have a knife on the basketball court? What do you think about the Knicks right now?
Yeah, the Pistons fans are so mad about that. I would be too, probably. But yeah, they're just kind of in this waiting period, waiting for OG and Randall to come back. It's like they got a sneak peek at what they could be when those guys are healthy. And the entire world, all it took was like one winning streak for the entire world to center around the Knicks, and so that's what like everyone's been waiting for. But then immediately it was taken away. So yeah, I don't know how long has it been. They should be coming back soon because it was 3 weeks for both of them. At least it was supposed to be. That seemed I'm getting 3 weeks ago vibes from their injuries.
Yes, no, I'm getting that too. Yeah, that's why I'm saying they might not even want to go to New York anymore. They might want to go to 3 weeks from now. I wrote it down here somewhere. I know OG is set to return to non-contact basketball. That was Thursday. So he can do shit like that now. He's taking a step forward. The Randall report was kind of crazy. It said he's doing everything he can to avoid surgery and that he wants to get back as soon as possible. I hadn't seen that was just me looking at the injury report. I hadn't seen like an actual article put out about that. So that was a little bit jarring. I think the Randall playoff questions kind of made people forget that he can still be like a pretty good, like a great regular season player in terms of just like night to night basis, helping your team win 47, 48, whatever games. Randall can really do a big part in that. And the Knicks could really use somebody like that right now. Brunson's last 10, he's averaging 32 points and 7 assists on 57% true shooting, and the Knicks are just 4-6 while being 0-2 in the games that he's missed during that stretch. It's pretty rough for the Knicks right now. It's pretty gnarly. And comparing this stretch to the 76ers, who are a couple spots down, we'll get to them in a sec. With the Sixers, it feels like there is at least developmental minutes to go around. Maxey kind of run the team and like do as much as he can, and that could be beneficial if you get them into a playoff setting later this season or even in the end of the year next season. With the Knicks, it doesn't feel like that at all. It's like, okay, we know Brunson is one of the better playoff performers in the league, and so just like having him fucking burn himself out trying to keep us afloat right now, it doesn't feel like it accomplishes very much in terms of like learning about what our team is capable of. DiVincenzo is really good though. I did say that. He's 23-4-3, shooting 39% from 3 on 13 attempts per game over the last like 8 games, I'm pretty sure. Like he's been phenomenal.
That Villanova connection. All they need is Mikal Bridges, but you know what? The price for him is too high. They might not even accept 10 first round picks. Yeah, the Julius Randle's interesting because it's very much a double-edged sword, because I do think they need him to generate pressure for their offense, because like he does create openings for other guys because he commands a lot of attention. The only problem is when he has the ball in his hands, he also just makes really bad decisions. So it's like it over the course of a series, what's the balance going to be? But I really do want to see. I would be interested to see how they look with just OG and then Randle and OG, because they still were doing well for a little bit with OG and without Randle. I think maybe only for a game or two. Maybe I'm getting things mixed up. I don't know.
It feels like they have the capacity to do well with just OG, regardless of if it's already happened. Like I feel like they could have a way better shot at staying afloat if you introduce like that kind of defender back into the lineup.
Yeah, it would be they'd be hounding. So we'll see what's going on with them.
All right. Oh, they're not a couple spots down. They're literally one spot down. The Philadelphia 76ers, baby. 1-3 in their last 4. Beat the Cavs. Losses to the Bucks, Celtics, and the Knicks. Personally, I'm less worried about the record for them at this point. More concerned with how key pieces of this team can compete once Embiid slots back into the lineup, which it's very murky. Some reports say like late March he's back, and some reports are like he's not coming back this season, and so I don't know. I'm operating under the assumption that he will probably be back for the playoffs. I don't know if I believe that late March line quite as much, but I will say they're the 20th defense, 27th offense during this stretch, and if nothing else, this has been a great showcase of Embiid's value. Like, holy shit, this team is not they're like a 63 win team with him, and without him they're at like a 25 win pace, so it's pretty gnarly in Philadelphia. Do you have thoughts on them?
He said he wanted to be back before the end of the regular season, so that seems to be the optimistic route. I don't know how realistic. But yeah, this team is in a rough spot. I saw a Sixers fan saying they want to be eliminated as quickly as possible, so Tobias Harris is off the roster as soon as possible. But Maxey's playing well. I saw Tyrese Maxey is number 1 in the NBA in average jumping distance, 4.6 feet. That's
like when he's
far.
driving to the basket, he like takes off and he kind of like glides in the air.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be because he takes floaters, and so those are like pew.
Pew.
But and then so this season, I think it's lost for them. Even if he comes back, I think it's lost. But unless Ricky Council might emerge.
All right. Oh, Ricky Council, he did have some nice little clips. I did see he was like he was guarding somebody. That's what I saw, and I was like, whoa, Ricky, chill out. But the Buddy Healed Mickey Mouse run is over. That's what I said. It's cooked. Teams are watching film on him when they're getting ready for the Sixers now. Shit. 11 points and 4 assists on 49% true shooting over the last 4 games. Still 39% from 3 on high volume, like 8 3-point attempts per game, but not exactly like the 21.7 assist guy that he was when he showed up to the 76ers, which that sucks. Because, like, watching him cook like that, I know it's not really who he is when teams are locked in and ready to play him. But it is fun. Like his play style, I don't. It is reminiscent of other star guards. He's shooting, he's cutting, he's getting to the rim a lot. He's fair. He's a smart facilitator. He's not like an elite one making all these crazy reads or anything. But I like Buddy Hield, so shout out to him. Oh, I said Maxey has looked better in these games than in the general absence of Embiid so far. He's 29.6 assists on 58% true shooting against four good defenses. I said 3 good defenses in Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's been a good defense lately. So 4 good defenses. In the fourth quarter against Cleveland, he scored 15 points and had 2 assists on 70% true shooting, was pretty clearly like the best player in that fourth quarter. I'm obviously not like ranking. I wouldn't take him over Donovan Mitchell right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he performed the best in that quarter. So yeah, shout out to Tyrese Maxey. It is nice to kind of see him settle into that role a little bit.
Yeah, this could end up going well for some of these guys in the long term, but still, it's so depressing. How far could they slip out? Could they fall down to the play-in? Realistically, how far off could they fall?
Let me see. Let me pull up the NBA standings real quick because that is a good question.
I believe they're behind the Knicks right now for the
they're behind the Knicks. Oh shit. It's pretty close. All the way down.
Orlando can jump them, right?
Everybody can jump them all the way down. So they're not going to fall out of the play-in because the Bulls are like a full 5 games back from them, but they are sitting at 33 and 25. The Magic, 1 below them, are 34 and 26. So are the Pacers. That's 2 below them. The 8 seed, 3 below them, is 33 and 26 at the Miami Heat. So 3 teams directly below them are almost tied with them in standings. And those are teams that are either like getting healthier or reaching easier parts of their schedule. Like obviously Halliburton, the minutes restriction has been lifted on him pretty recently. And then the Heat, we'll get to them too. They've had just like a smattering of like their best players missing 3 games here, 4 games here, stuff like that. And even them, they've come on in recent weeks as well. Whereas Philadelphia, it's just a little bit harder to see them stringing together a run like that.
Yeah, I think they'll probably be the playoff team that the top seeds would want to see the most.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? They deserve it. You know why? Because of their fraud first-round win against the Bulls in 2012 when Rose got hurt, and I think Noah got hurt during the series. That fraud team. Yeah, I think they might have pushed the Celtics to 7 or something too, but they're still frauds.
Exactly. They are frauds. I can get on board with that. I'll call them frauds. Fraud win over the Westbrook Wizards a couple years back as well. Every playoff win they've ever had has been fraudulent. Every playoff loss they've ever had has been 100%. Like, that's real. That's who they really are as a team. So it's important to remember stuff like that.
Trae Young owns you.
Trae Young owns you. Oh, my God. He owns Australia, actually. Ben Simmons. Little known fact, Ben Simmons, before the last game, he was like, I'll bet Australia that I'll beat you right now. And Trae Young fucking cooked his ass. So,
Ben Simmons had Australia? Wow.
Yeah, dude. Little known fact, Trae Young, prime minister. They probably have a prime minister down there. PM of Australia, baby. What the fuck were we at? Sixers, Orlando Magic. Oh. That was a lobbyist request. We had more love for the Orlando Magic song. So shout out to whoever requested that. You're welcome. 3-1 in their last 4. They lost to Atlanta. They beat Detroit, Utah, and Brooklyn. Pablo haters. Pablo, we're kind of in the mud right now, man. Pablo, he's had a couple. He missed 2 of these games, but he hit the game winner against the Pistons, and then he played really well against the Utah Jazz. What do you think about Orlando right now?
That's another thing the Pistons are so mad about. They're like, that was a travel on that game winning shot, and you know what? I'm not gonna weigh in on whether it was a travel or not. You know why? All the rules dweebs, they get in there with their magnifying glasses and they're like, well, technically this kind of step and his fingers are here. Does this? He lost the ball. Do you think it was on purpose? I think he lost the ball and then just like stutter step.
Nothing about that move was on purpose. There's like
I
the
don't
shot
think
was
it
great.
on
He settled in and he like focused and he put up a really good jumper when all of his footwork before it was fucking crazy shit that he clearly doesn't practice. It's not like that was a move. But yeah. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a travel, but I don't think any of it was on purpose. I think he just kind of like lucked into his foot catching on the hardwood, but not twisting his ankle and then like snapping to a different spot while he was still in the air. Great shot though, phenomenal shot. Especially like he was not playing well in that game.
Great shot on a night where he wasn't making shots. For such haters.
some might say he put up a prayer and it went in. Some might say he's a inefficient chucker. Wow, weird.
Highlight merchant, Pablo Banchero.
First guy to get fucking carried by doing cool shit.
No, he's just the Kobe. He's the real next Kobe. Like it's as long as you make the tough shot at the end, everyone forgets everything. But he had a monster game last night, we should say.
Yeah, he did 29 points, 14 in the fourth quarter to lead them over the Jazz. So he was really good. I was gonna say him and the Kobe comp, instead of laying his highlights over Michael Jordan, you're laying his highlights over like a Julius Randle like double dream shake fake into like a weird mid-range fadeaway on a guy who's 40 pounds lighter than he is, and it's like, okay, come on, bro, go to the rim. No, shout out Pablo. Mo Wagner. I had Mo Wagner. A little shout out. In the last 3 of the last 4 games, ignoring the Hawks game where the Hawks really beat him up, Mo Wagner is 15 points and 7 rebounds on 75% true shooting in a little over 21 minutes per game. He's like the opposite of a Nepo baby. That's what I wrote down. He just happened to earn his spot on next to his brother. He's evil Thanasis Antetokounmpo. And then Jalen Suggs also 13 points per game on 81% true shooting over the last 4 games. That's like 67, 56, 75 shooting splits. He's been really good. And the Magic, I don't know, they started the season so much hype, so much aura, kind of died off recently. It's growing on me again. Now that Franz and Palo are back in the lineup and the offense is, it's not garbage, it's just like passable, and you can kind of survive while the defense is doing its thing, which has come back in recent weeks as well. Over the last 4, their defense is like 7th or something, where it regressed all the way to like 15th over the past several months. So yeah, shout out to the Magic. Nice young team. We've talked about them. Do you have any final thoughts on Orlando?
They did beat the Nets without Pablo. Franz had a good game. He was 8 for 11. But then they lost to the Hawks without Pablo. They had no Pablo, and the Hawks didn't have Trae Young. Rest in peace, Trae Young. So Pablo,
he died.
Importance to the team. Up in the air, same place.
Yeah, 500 basketball team without Pablo. Wow. Trae Young had the surgery on his finger. That's what it was. He didn't die. Okay, I forgot about that.
But he was in the hospital bed.
I liked that a lot. I liked your video. What happened to him? Did he get hit by a car? No, he had to fix his finger. Which is funny to imagine. The alternate is that he's standing up in surgery. Like, bro, be a man. Just stand up and get your finger operated on. It's gonna take 15 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk. Jonathan Isaac Trump shoes. He said, "I'm gonna wear these," and then he got hurt. He didn't actually wear them, I don't think, right? But
did he get hurt again? I didn't even see it.
He did. He tweeted that out, and then he got hurt. But he's avoided significant injury. They did an MRI. He's avoided significant injury. So hopefully he gets back for the playoffs, and hopefully he can wear them. I would unironically love it if he wore those in a game. I think it'd be good.
I mean, commit to the bit. Commit to the bit at that point. Like, it would be hilarious if like him and Trump really collab, like they just do all all this press and everything. Like, we get a ton of pictures of them hanging out together. Like, 4th cut he makes on the floor, and it just looks like Zion's shoe at Duke. It fucking disintegrates around his foot, and like he's just like running around out there with one shoe on. I would like that a lot.
And then they're like the NBA sabotaged it in the locker room before the
liberal hardwood that they're playing on. You guys need to play like a good old fashioned blue collar black top basketball game. That's what these shoes are made to be worn on, baby. None of this indoor crap. Yeah,
Trump should just start a Patreon. Why is he selling shoes? Just start a Patreon, start a Twitch, something.
Oh, dude, Trump Twitch channel would go fucking insane. Oh my, Trump X like Kai Cenat collab or something like they
Trump.
just
Oh my god, yeah. Aiden Ross would do it. I'll tell you that.
oh, Aiden Ross
Trump's
would eat
just
that shit up.
reacting to Biden like press clips. It's just, yeah.
Biden's 4th ice cream trip of the week. Trump just like pauses it. Damn it, I wish I had a good Trump impression because there's a ton of bits we could do here, but I don't have one. So yeah, you guys just imagine I said something funny like Trump's there. Indiana. I'm sure all of our fans in Indiana loved that we were shitting on Trump right there. 3-1 in their last 4 wins over the Mavs, Pacers, the Mavs, Pistons, and Pelicans, and then they lost to the Toronto Raptors. Apparently, this Mavericks win was good enough to fucking nuke Luka's MVP case. So it must be the most impressive win here. It is, anyways. Halliburton is returning to form after lifting the minutes restriction up. In his last 8, he's 16 points and 11 assists on 56% true shooting. The 3-point shooting, the volume is still there. The efficiency isn't quite there. It's like 37% over those 8 games, but I'm just excited. We're getting like an extended run of him and Siakam healthy at the same time playing together and being successful. They're like 5-3 over those 8 games, and there's some pretty fun stats to go along with them. What do you think about Indiana right now?
It's crazy. Siakam has been there for 19 games already. It feels the trade feels more recent, but I guess it's not. Shout out to not shout out. I would say rest in peace to Caitlin Clark. She's not dead, but she did just find out that she's gonna. We just found out that she's gonna go to the WNBA, and the Indiana Fever have the #1 pick. So she's going to be spending her professional career in Indianapolis, the worst city in America. Some are saying, many are thinking. So it's a great time to be a basketball fan in Indiana. Caitlin Clark, I've seen her in person. I've seen her play in person. It's a blast. But yeah, the games are only 2 hours, guys. What are you going to do the rest of 22 in that horrible, decrepit city? Apparently, though, Indianapolis is #1 in current NBA players per capita. They don't have the most NBA players, but per capita, I think there's 14 guys from Indianapolis or the surrounding areas.
That are in the NBA right now?
Yeah, from Indiana.
And that's the most of like Los Angeles doesn't have more active.
They have the most by volume, but per capita because there's
more. Okay. Damn, I'm stupid. I forgot per capita. Yeah.
You know what they say? They say in 49 other states it's just basketball. But in Indiana, that they don't finish it. They just say that. They just say
that.
In 49 other states, it's just just
what the hell is it here?
It's more. It's everything.
It's our life. It's terrible here. So we like basketball, but for the basketball, I mean, yeah, it's not just basketball for us. It is everything. Holy shit.
Halliburton turned 6 years old because of the leap year. Did you see that?
I did see that. Fucking best. I mean, imagine when he's in his prime. Imagine when he's 27. He's gonna be fucking crazy, bro.
But yeah, Siakam in 19 games, he's at 21, 7, and 5 for them. His 3-point percentage jumped up. Like in Toronto, I think he was 31, and in Indiana it's 39. So he's knocking down these shots. I saw Caitlin Cooper tweet this. The Raptors when they played the Raptors scored 33 points off of cuts against them. That's the most any team has scored all season. And for context, Atlanta and Washington are the worst teams in the NBA at giving up points off cuts. Shout out to DeJounte Murray and Jordan Poole. And they give up 12.5 points per game off cuts. And in this one game, the Pacers gave up 33.
This was the Raptors game?
Yeah, so they got to lock in.
I might go rewatch that. I didn't get to catch that. That's so. I mean, that's because like when a team scores a lot on cuts, like when you watch a Hawks game, it really sticks out. It's like fuck, these back cuts are crazy right now. Holy shit! So for it to be like nearly triple what happens in an average Hawks game. That has to feel like you're watching the same clip over and over and over again. That sounds pretty fun. Damn, shout out Indiana. What I had over the last 8. So Halliburton 16 points, 11 assists, just 2 turnovers a game during those 8 games, and then Siakam simultaneously is 4 assists per game with 0.8 turnovers a game. He had 4 straight games with 0 turnovers. So that's fun. That's like between the two, that's 15 assists with less than 3 turnovers a game. That's great. That's really good. I don't know. That's the keys to a very efficient offense, I suppose.
I think they're still like one of the best passing teams ever. I was watching Scott Van Pelt's show, and he had some graphic. I think they were number 1, like in averaging assists, like in historically. It's like them, the 15-16 Warriors and like the 86 Celtics or something. Like they are at the top of league history in the amount of assists that they are generating, and not even just Halliburton, just as a team. Mm-hmm. And so could it be fraud inflated pace numbers? Possibly. But yeah, they're passing really, really well. They beat New Orleans, but Valanciunas got injured right away. And that made me realize the Pelicans, I don't think they have a single other big man, do they?
It's like Larry Nance, friend of the program, Larry Nance.
But he's too spry. He's too small, young, and spry.
Yeah, he's a good, like, I don't know. He's a 4. Yeah, he could play like an Aaron Gordon role or something maybe, but I wouldn't really trust him to be like a full-time center. That's a little bit small.
But they also beat the Mavs, and everyone was playing for the Mavs, I believe so, right?
No, they would, like Luka, Kyrie, everyone to go, and they beat the Mavs. That was a really good win.
And then shout out to Ben Shepherd. Ben Shepherd is proving himself to be one of the biggest steals in the draft. 40% 3-point shooter since February, and still playing like lockdown defense. I saw him break up a lob the other night. So he's everywhere. He's flying around, playing great on and off the ball.
How tall is he?
I believe he's like 6'5", 6'6".
Okay.
Sick mustache. Shout out to Belmont University's own. But yeah, the things are looking up for them.
Oh. He left the call, everybody. This is Jokic Joestar. I'm alone in the call right now, and he's back, baby. What went down?
I was only out for how long was I out?
You were out for like a second. What do you mean? You dropped, and I said I started talking directly to the listeners. I said he's gone. He disappeared. We got to wait for him to come back. So we're back now.
It was crazy. We were like mid conversation. Then I was gone, and you were like, he's out, and I was like, what? Did I just time travel?
Oh, that's funny. Holy shit!
But yeah, the vibes are better with the Pacers because Halliburton is healthy, and there was a moment there where post in-season tournament loss, we were like, okay, these frauds are done. They traded Buddy Hield for nothing. They're donezo. They're not doing anything this year. They're probably still not doing anything this year, but it's just things are trending upwards. Siakam is meshing, it seems like, and I think things are okay.
Yeah, that was my closing thought with them as well. Is just kind of if the takeaway from this team is that you just get post All-Star break healthy with Halliburton and Siakam, and you kind of see what the recipe for this team winning basketball games and what spots on the floor need to be bolstered a little bit. If that's all you get from this season, that's fine. At the beginning of the season, it felt like we were going to get a little bit more out of them than the Orlando Magic, I will say. Like, I thought they were in slightly different teams just because the vibes and, like, the offense was fucking crazy for Indiana. And they've definitely fallen off since then to the point where I think the teams absolutely are in the same tier now. And so they're in a similar boat. They're young. They're playing with house money, just a little bit less because Siakam is 29, so you don't have, like, limitless potential the same way you do when you're looking at like a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old as your building blocks in Orlando. But yeah, it's good vibes in Indiana, which you can say just right now. Indianapolis, good vibes right now, but most of the time, not really. Miami. The Miami Heat are 3-1 in their last 4 games. They have wins over the Blazers, Kings, and Pelicans. They had a 5-game win streak ended by the Denver Nuggets. Go Nuggets, baby. Hashtag pack watch. What do you think about Miami?
And the Nuggets game, the Nuggets game was weird, and everyone was trying. The what's it called? Spoelstra played like an 8-man rotation basically, and Jimmy Butler topped 38 minutes for only the second time this season. Shout out to Cooper Moorhead for that. But yeah, they were going all out. And it was a weird game. The final score was 103-97, but the Nuggets got like nothing off their bench at all, and then the Heat's team box score doesn't look like anybody popped off either. So it was a weird game.
Well, Jamal Murray also rolled his ankle, and so
yeah,
there was no Jamal for a lot of it, and it was one of the worst Jokic games in weeks. It was not a particularly dominant outing from him. It was just Michael Porter Jr. Baby, the possession stops here. And last night it really worked out. He had like 30 points. He was fucking cooking last night. Holy shit!
And he was playing some good defense too. But yet so they're turning it up. This was like a finals preview. I still probably, if this was a series again, based on the current state of things, their additions don't really put me over the edge. Like I'm not. Based off this matchup, I'm not thinking, okay, DeLon Wright, Hero, Hawkes, and Rozier. Now things are different. I'm not feeling that way yet. But I still think they're a strong contender to come out the East just because they do it every single year. Jimmy Butler was in that Fall Out Boy music video.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
wore the wig. He had like a cool. Is that a rodeo out? No, mariachi outfit. Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. It was sick, regardless though.
They're calling him Heat Wentz. You know Pete Wentz, the bassist in Fall Out Boy. They're calling Jimmy Heat Wentz. Pretty sick nickname.
That is pretty sick.
Pete Wentz dated Jessica Simpson back in the day. I think so. What an era. The Fall. I was a Fall Out Boy kid growing up. Not in terms of like going to concerts or growing their hair out, but I was listening to Fall Out Boy while playing Maple Story. It was pretty sick.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
You know about Maple Story?
I'm not locked into Maple Story. What platform was it on? I never.
It's a PC. It's a PC game. It's like what is the term? MMORPG? Yeah.
Was it like RuneScape?
It was more like same type of game, but it didn't look like that. It was like 2D cartoony game, and you had
like Pop Tropica.
No, it was like a fighting game, and you had like powers, and you get a job, and the jobs are like archer or mage and stuff, and you go on quests and you do a bunch of crazy stuff.
This guy's playing fucking Job the game. Holy shit, that's so fun.
It was a grinding game for grinders.
Hey man, I know about grinding. I know about my favorite game. You ever play Borderlands 2?
No.
Oh, dude,
they're making a movie.
I know It's weird. The cast looks terrible, and I'm not.
That's what I've heard. Kevin Hart is casted in a role that people aren't excited about.
Well, yeah, the role, like the guy in the game is like he's like fucking 6'7" and like deathly serious, and it's kind of like a fun contrast to like a very silly world around this character. And it's Kevin Hart, and like they didn't do anything in the trailer, at least, to make it look like Kevin Hart's like this big imposing guy. Like they didn't do any big thick shoes to make him taller. So he's like sitting next to Cate Blanchett in a car, and she's just clearly like half a foot taller than he is, and it's like I don't know, but still the trailer looked pretty fun. So I don't know. I'll lock into maybe I'll go see it if I can see. I haven't seen Madam Web yet. What's the worst movie I've seen recently? I don't know. I saw Last Night in Soho like a year ago, and I fucking hated that movie. But I haven't really seen any bad movies in a good long while. I'm looking forward to Madam Web. Fuck, what was I gonna say? It was something about the Heat. It was something about. So since the 7-game losing streak, Miami has won 9 of their last 12 games, including beating Milwaukee, Sacramento twice, Orlando, the Magic, and the 76ers. Plus, their losses to the Nuggets and the Celtics during that span were both pretty competitive games. It was like a 4-point loss to the Celtics, 6-point loss to the Nuggets. And so they're the second-ranked defense in those 12 games. They're the 5th-ranked net. and they're the 20th ranked offense, which has a lot to do with Robinson, Butler, Hero, and Rozier all independently missing like 4 games separately during that stretch. And Bam has been like honestly killing it during that 12 game thing. I'm gonna cook on him in a second. Do you have any thoughts there that you want to respond to at all?
Do you know how many different starting lineups they've had this season?
Not off the top of my head. Are you going to tell me?
They've had 31 different starting lineups this season. Michael Malone was like, Spoelstra is worth every single penny that they give him.
Never let him know what's coming, baby. Hell yeah, Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, they're crazy. And I heard Zach Lowe and Nekias Duncan talking about this. But what is their best starting lineup? I forget what conclusion they came to, but it's very interesting because you have Jimmy and Bam, and then the rest is kind of up in the air. Like, because there's Hero, there's Robinson, they have Rozier. Jaquez was playing well enough to demand it at the beginning of the year, but he's fallen off a little bit.
So I'm trying to picture it.
How do you fill it in?
I think, okay, so to me, Hero is a starter. I would rather have Hero starting and maybe like stagger him as opposed to just give him like a full-on bench role. So I'm just a little, so if you were to go like Hero, Butler, and Bam for sure, what does like the point guard and the power forward position look there? Was Jaquez playing power forward?
Well, they were just running like he was handling the ball on offense. I don't know who he was guarding on defense, but Jimmy can guard most fours, I think.
I guess. I don't know. Well, that's like another thing in the Nuggets game that like if they matched up again, it wouldn't stress me out because the Nuggets and a lot of teams in the West are just like fucking huge compared to them. Like they have a lot of guys who play a little bit bigger than their size for whatever that's worth. But like there are plays where it's just like there's 3 Heat guys under the basket and Michael Porter Jr., who he's a fine rebounder. He's a solid rebounder, but like he looks like prime Andre Drummond out there just because he's like got half a foot or 5 inches on everybody around him. And so that's, I don't know. You even get some of that with Bam. Bam's a really, really good rebounder, but he is already relinquishing like a little bit of size. He's what, like 6'10" with super long arms?
He might be 6'9".
Yeah, like, and you notice that when you're running him against Jokic, and it's like he fronts him super well, and he makes his job hard, and he's a really good defender on him individually. But if your big man's already going to be undersized, it feels hard to then run out Hero, Robinson, Butler, and Jaquez and expect, which I don't know, maybe I'm a fucking idiot because they've made the finals a bunch, and they make the conference finals every year, and it never ends up mattering, but. Yeah, that's just something I noticed when I was watching the Nuggets game last night. Is they are a little bit small, but
Orlando Robinson is not doing it. They're a small wingspan team. Tyler Hero's negative wingspan. Duncan Robinson, I think, probably doesn't have a great wingspan. Jimmy, I think, his average wingspan. I don't know what I feel like. Jaquez is not a great wingspan, but the only plus they got is Bam.
Yeah. And plus Hart. Oh shit! I'm about to dunk on Terry Rozier. Rozier largely okay. So has clearly been an improvement in the spot of Kyle Lowry. Just in terms of like valuable playmaking and efficient playmaking. He's like nearly 6 assists per game on just 1 turnover a game in a Heat uniform, something along those lines. But he is one of the worst shooters in the league. Let me see this. So over the last 8 games that he's played, he's 19% on catch and shoot threes. With that's 4th worst amongst players on 20 plus attempts. He's 19% from 3 as a whole, and he has a 47% true shooting. Jaquez is also in a lot of those very poor 3-point shooting numbers as well in terms of catch and shoot stuff. He's like 21% on similar volume, and so those 2 spots. Especially like you get them up to average, which I don't know. That's kind of me like waving a magic wand at the problem. Maybe they never get back up to average. But if you could do that and then you could introduce like a healthy Jimmy and a healthy Hero back into this lineup, I see a world where this team continues clicking defensively with everything that's worked for them, but then gets on track to being like an average, above average offense as opposed to where they've been at lately.
Yeah, I just believe in them, and like Jimmy Butler said, we're so together, playing some incredible basketball. I don't think it matters who we're going against right now. It's that time of year.
Hell yeah! Shout out Jimmy for being fucking so crazy it just might work. All right, Chicago. I don't believe this is so crazy it just might work. I think it's just
so crazy it absolutely won't work. Why is
so
it
crazy
still happening?
It's just fucking crazy. That's the end of the sentence. They're 2-2 in their last 4. Hilarious that one of the wins is over the Cavs. The Cavs, this infamously good team. Cavs and the Pelicans, and then they lost to the Celtics and the Pistons. Literally, the Cavs one I have is the funniest thing ever. 35 points from DeRozan on 30% from the field, and a 26 rebound Andre Drummond game. Like, that's just hoops you don't see anymore. That's rare form. Lobbyist request Ayo Dosunmu stock. It's steadily climbing, baby. 16 points, 4 assists on 65% true shooting over these last 4 games. He's been cooking, man. He's been cooking. It would be so Chicago Bulls to like have nothing, be desolate, and then in the same season, Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu, they both like emerge from the ashes, and it's like, oh shit, we have to pick one to run with now, and then they end up picking the wrong one. That would be very Chicago Bulls, but for right now, they don't have to worry about making that decision. Last thing I said, Chicago is probably the most disappointing team I could picture winning the play-in tournament. Like Atlanta's below them, but like Atlanta, you at least get Trae Young in the mix, and like maybe something's there. Chicago, even though they're always in like a close, exciting game, they've played like 34 overtimes this season or something, or 34 clutch games. I just don't see it like manufacturing a super exciting playoff series. What do you think about the Windy City basketball team, Pablo? What do you think?
Listen, all we have is Kobe White, really, and I don't need to see him struggle in a playoff series. I would like to just leave that up to imagination. I would like to think, hey, maybe if he got in there, maybe he'd average 30. I don't know. Maybe hey, if you swapped Kobe for Maxey in this series, maybe the Sixers would be better. I'd like to be on the sidelines saying that at the TV, and with no burden of proof. I wish we weren't in the playoffs at all, but we're stuck, it seems. We beat the Cavs because they were throwing that game. 74-39 rebound disparity is crazy. Not playing the shooters on double overtime game, second night of back-to-back is crazy. We lost to the Pistons. Things are not good. Patrick Williams is out for the year. There is also a new bright spot. Do you know about our new Turkish lad?
Is this a Simic or Misic or whatever his name is?
No, Micic is in Charlotte now. He was the guy in the Thunder.
No. Oh, okay, let me cook. Yeah, go.
This is Bitum on your lap, Bitum.
Okay.
So let me tell you something. He's a 3-point sharpshooter, but in Europe he won a dunk contest. So
whoa,
those are two of the best things in basketball: dunking and making threes. The only thing missing is mid-range. But yeah, he got converted. He got called up from the G League. I think they gave him a standard NBA contract, and he played and he made a few threes, and everyone's excited. If you go to the Bulls subreddit, it's all Bitum posting. We're so
like that. We're Bitum maxing over here. That's fun. Shout out Bitum. That's a great name. How do you spell that? Just BITM? Is there a vowel in there?
Yeah, BITM. And his first name is ONURALP. Onralp. I don't know.
Onralp. Bitum. Okay. Shout
Maybe
out to him.
Lure Şengün here in free agency.
I like that. Okay. I can get down for that. Last one. I just wrote every close game I've tuned into that has the capacity for a game winner. It feels like they're giving the game winning shot to DeRozan. Stop doing that. Give it to Kobe White, please. Just like
But he's clutch player of the year 2 years ago.
No, I don't care. That's stupid. They're riding on this the back-to-back game winners from when you guys were the 1 seed in the East for 30 minutes. I don't care. It's done. It's done. Let it go. Let Kobe White do it one time. It'll be fun. I promise. Holy shit. He just it's so annoying because they inbound the ball to Kobe White, and I'm like, oh, whoa, this could be fun. And then
give it to DeMar so he can take a contested.
He swings it. Yeah, he swings it to DeMar and he sets the screen, and DeMar gets to the elbow mid range, and I'm like, God damn it! There's 12 seconds left on the clock. Why?
Well,
what?
Yeah, we got to milk those 12 seconds because that's a lot of time for them to guess.
Yeah, I know I already dribbled. Here's 2 jab steps, and the mid range is coming. There we go. Bang bang, baby. Oh, it missed. It hit the front of the rim. Fuck. All right. Shout out to Chicago. Predictability is fun. At this point in the season, you feel like you're going crazy because you've just seen the same shit happen so many times.
But you've never seen someone who can win a 3-point contest and a dunk contest.
Almost a 3-level scorer, ladies and gentlemen. Bitum, the Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks, 2-2 in their last 4. Losses to the Nets and the Raptors. Wins over the Jazz and the Magic. Trae Young, his fingy, he got it fixed. He's out. What is he out for? 4
He's
weeks?
out for he will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So this
motherfucker, that's the rest of the season. What are we doing here?
That's why he had the hospital photo shoot. Guys, head on over to Trae Young's Instagram. I love Trae Young so much. He's so what is the word? Because corny has too negative of a connotation. But he is
maybe he's earnest,
He's earnest. He's earnest. He tweets every single day, another day,
another opportunity, baby.
I love his emoji usage and everything. I remember during 2020, during the heat of the police riots and all of Twitter is just the worst stuff you've ever seen, just police beating down civilians. He just tweets out something I hope everything gets better, sad face emoji, something like that. I love Trae Young. He's so genuine. And then now he has this. He is remarkably durable, which I guess maybe makes sense for the type of player he is. But this is the most games he's ever missed, I think.
Yeah.
He plays the vast majority of the time. Yeah, so now he has his first big surgery, and he's go on over to his Instagram, everybody. He's posting pictures like he just beat leukemia. He's passed out in the hospital bed, laying down, and then he's got his arm in the cast and everything. A lot of great stuff. And what did he captioned it? He said fighting back or something.
Oh my god.
Something amazing as well. He is the best. I love Trae Young.
Yeah, shout out to Trae Young, man. Another day, another opportunity. That's one of the all-time bits. I love that very much.
And after one of his big playoff losses, I think against the Heat that year, he didn't tweet it for a day. It was the saddest moment in history. It was so sad.
There was no opportunity that day.
He didn't believe in it. He didn't believe it.
Dude, that will signal such a monumental change in his mindset if he ever stops tweeting that every day. You have to, the world will be desolate to him. He'll just be like, what? God damn it. Nothing's ever going to get better. This is terrible. The earth is dying. We can't stop fighting each other. People are starving. Holy fuck. There is no opportunity here. It's just another day. That's all it is.
I wonder if he types it out every time, or if he copy pastes, or if he has it scheduled, or
what do his drafts look like? Maybe January 1st he cranks out 365 drafts, and then he can just open his phone up. Boom. Well, I guess this year would be 366. It's a leap year. All right. What did I even say? I wonder what the locker room is like right now in Atlanta. Just because nobody's. If you're Jalen Johnson, you probably feel fine. Nobody else is going to be here after this offseason. And so that's just got to be insane vibes as far as day-to-day interacting with people goes. Patty Mills is a free agent. The league is done for. And then we have a lobbyist request. Kobe Buffkin is not a bust. I haven't watched that much Kobe Buffkin tape. I was hoping you could cook on this.
He's playing lockdown defense. He's looking really good for them. He's out of Michigan. At Michigan, you're drafting him mostly for guard defense, but on offense, he was kind of like a jack of all trades type of guy. Like he could hit pull up threes. He could get to the rim. He could finish. And he's a good passer, and he could do like live dribble stuff. Like guys, go watch Kobe Buffkin's, what's his name, Adam Spinell's Kobe Buffkin video. It was great. But yeah, he was a very interesting pick, and it's so when they took him, I was like, this seems like a DeJounte Murray replacement, because it seems like the same idea. Like, let's draft this guy to be Trae Young's backcourt mate, and he'll just guard whoever Trae Young can't. But now that Trae Young is out, it's funny because he's playing next to DeJounte, and people have started pushing the DeJounte Murray agenda. They're like, hey, maybe we roll without Trae Young. Maybe it's better to trade Trae Young and keep DeJounte. And
guys, definitely. Pick. I'm sure that'll work out great for you if you move on from Trae Young.
I saw someone in their subreddit was like, Trae Young is selfish, this, that, and they were posting like how every number is worse with him out, like the assist number for the entire team and everything.
That is always it's fun, especially in the Reddits like that, when you see like an idea catches on in a fan base where they're like, this guy fucking stinks, he should not be playing. And then there's one person who like actually knows what's going on, and they're just like being persecuted in the comments section. They're like, guys, this isn't true, please stop. And everyone's like, boo, shut up, nerd. Yeah, I love that.
That was me in the original Vucevic trade reaction thread. Me sitting at a negative 139, saying this is horrible. This
minus
is
139 karma, bro. Are you serious? That's a valuable commodity, man. That's gonna be the credits in the future. They're gonna use your Reddit karma, and that's how you're gonna buy a house.
The Hawks front office is also a disaster. They're becoming the new Bulls because they have just stopped making moves. Apparently, they have this guy named Trent Forrest, and he was on a 2-way contract. He was active for the maximum amount of games, so just 50 games. And so once you hit the maximum, you have to either like release them or give them a standard NBA contract, because they can't play. They can't do anything else. They just had this guy on their team taking up a roster spot ineligible for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, there's nothing. He couldn't play. They couldn't do anything. They were just like, oh well. And this is during a time, I think Onyeka Okongwu and Clint Capella were both hurt. They didn't go out and get a big man. They were doing nothing. And there was this Athletic article about it, and he's like, it's not a money issue. They're like, they have $10 million in cap space, so I don't know what they're doing. And yeah, since the John Collins trade, which took forever to make, no DeJounte trade, that didn't seem like a good move. No Capella trade, especially right now with his injury issues, he's not making any layups. As we pointed out. So the vibes are not good in Atlanta. Except for DeAndre Hunter has been coming off the bench, and he's averaging 18 points a game, 48% from three on 9 games since he came back from injury. So DeAndre Hunter's going good. Jalen Johnson is still good. They have these interesting pieces, but the vibes are off. And I'll tell you what, if you get rid of Trae Young, like, man, dedicating a team to like a DeJounte Murray led core, like DeJounte Murray, Kobe Buffkin, Jalen Johnson, and like a Okongwu. Is that more depressing or less depressing than Levine and DeRozan? And it's probably sincere. It might be worse.
I think, I don't know. The promise of like what Jalen Johnson and DeAndre Hunter, it'll be worse in like 2 years, but right now I'd probably feel better, because when you brought DeRozan in, it was like, whoa, like the timeline for a player this age is like it's championship or bust, but like none of the talent that we have on this team is championship or bust. And so it's just like playoffs or bust now. And so
and he has like a 10-year track record of not doing very well in the playoffs.
Like even if we get there, like he is famously one of the worst players in the postseason. And then the Vucevic trade and then all that. It's just bad. It's bad stuff. All right. The Brooklyn Nets. They are 2-2 in their last 4. They have wins over the Hawks and the Grizzlies. They have losses to the Magic and the Timberwolves. Every time I turn, this is like the reverse Bulls. The Bulls are always in a clutch game in the closing minutes. Every time the Bull, like their margin of victory or loss this week, they beat Atlanta by 27, they lost to the Magic by 27, they beat Memphis by 25, and then they lost to Minnesota by 15. That's an average of 23.5 points that they won or lost the game by. It was never exciting. Other than that, there's a lobbyist request. Nick Claxton is the league's best shooter, because he leads the league in field goal percentage. Those numbers check out, and the logic checks out as well. Shout out Nick. I unironically like Nick Claxton a lot. He's very good. He's very talented. Some might say he's wasting away in Brooklyn, and they're not really a team that's qualified to have a role player that good. I don't know. People are saying that. That's just what people are saying. Pablo, what do you think about Brooklyn?
He's going to be an unrestricted free agent, so they better pony up. If they want to keep him. I don't think we talked about them since their coach got fired. Jacques Vaughn got coached, ending.
Oh yeah, there was another one. We wanted Jacques Vaughn hate. The lobbyist did. So cook on that. Cook his ass, bro.
People were not into Jacques Vaughn. Like all Nets fans all season long, they were like, you know what? We hate our head coach. We think this guy sucks and he's the worst. And the vibes are awful here, and so they finally got it was Jacques Vaughn and Spencer Dinwiddie. So they've gotten rid of their two villains, and they've hired Kevin Ollie. Do you know about Kevin Ollie?
No, I do not.
Kevin Ollie was the you know Jim Calhoun, the UConn coach. Well, Jim Calhoun was the legendary UConn basketball head coach of Kemba when they won the national championship.
Oh, okay, Cardiac Kemba. All right.
Old school. East Coast guy with some kind of accent from there. I don't know which region, New Hampshire perhaps. But yeah, he was like this legendary college basketball head coach. Kevin Ollie is his successor. I think so. And he wins a national championship. I think it was his first year with Heat legend Shabazz Napier.
Whoa.
And he was like a hot commodity back then because he's like a personality guy. He's like the real Doc Rivers. Everybody loves this guy. And there was like talk, like I remember the young OKC teams with like Durant and them. They were like, should they go after Kevin Ollie? Get Scott Brooks out of here. Bring in Kevin Ollie. And then I don't know exactly what happened, but I guess he wasn't good for UConn.
Damn.
And then the stock fell down. But now he's back in Brooklyn, and I'm seeing some Kevin Ollie hype again. People are like, this guy's personality, this guy's winning over the guys. This guy's great. But also, I saw him walking off the court, and he said something to Dennis Smith Jr., and Dennis Smith Jr. ignored him straight up.
Fuck.
And then they had to
personality guy.
Then they had to have a talk together. Then they were talking. So I don't know. Either way, this team is probably screwed. But Day'Ron Sharpe went 2 for 2 from 3.
Hey, bang bang! There we go. All right, there's silver linings everywhere if you know where to look. I was gonna say it's very funny to have a personality coach on the roster with Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges, and it's just like Cam these guys. Yeah, like they just sit around. Like these guys don't. They're not personalities. They just hang out. They're not like, it's not like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving or anybody that's really going to butt heads.
Oh, I thought you meant like Cam Thomas as in like he's a difficult personality.
No, I mean, Cam Thomas might be because he's like, I'm the best fucking player to ever touch a basketball. And he has to break it to him. And he's like, you're like a pretty good 22-year-old. You're pretty solid, but like, we need you to chill out and maybe swing the rock a couple times a game. But beyond that, like, I don't know, after Dinwiddie gets out of the locker room, it feels like everybody on this team likes each other for the most part. You don't see a lot of I don't know, contention on the bench.
Could he be the one to save Ben Simmons?
Ooh, maybe. Okay. Well, does he have a spare back he can just throw that
Oh,
way? Because otherwise, I don't know, man. Ben Simmons. I hope it's fun to watch him still. It's fun to watch Ben Simmons. Like it's a very unique kind of movement.
it is sad though because he passes up so many rim attacks. He's like, I don't need to score. I don't want to.
That doesn't sound. I don't even want to do that right now, man. That doesn't even sound fun,
like
dude.
nothing good happens after midnight. He's like, nothing good happens within 8 feet of the hoop. I don't
Yeah, man. Haven't you heard 3 greater than 2? Come on, guys.
And when I drive in, I'll kick it out. Yeah,
I'll kick it out. Three greater than 2. I will never ever shoot a 3-pointer. Don't ask me to do that. But my teammates will, and so I'll give them the ball when it's time to.
They might be a bud team, Mike Budenholzer.
Oh, okay. I can get behind that. He's got experience, Giannis, and now when I was like pushing prime Ben Simmons propaganda, I was like, build around him like Giannis a little bit, and you can you get the shooters around him, just let his ass go to the fucking rim and make cool passes. There's something there. I don't know if it's a title team, but it's probably not like a Pistons team or anything. I think it'd be a pretty good team. So yeah, and Budenholzer, maybe he could bring that out of him. The Toronto Raptors are 3-1 this week. Pizza party, baby. 3-1 record.
Pizza party, woo!
They lost to the Mavs, sad, but they beat the Pacers, Hawks, and the Nets. Scotty Barnes, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 stocks. Don't ask about the efficiency. It was 53% true shooting. Lobbyist request. Emmanuel Quickley and RJ are building blocks for the future who are carrying the Raptors. RJ's last 12 games, he's 21.6 rebounds, 4 assists on 59% true shooting. It's being tanked by his free throw percentage.
Yeah.
He shoots 51% from the free throw line, but 44% or 41% from 3. That would be like, he'd be like a 65, 66% true shooting guy if he was just league average at the free throw line. Jesus Christ, man. But he's still really good. That's still a phenomenal line. And then Emmanuel Quickley, maybe we'll get to him in the awards a little bit later. He's been killing it this week. The splits are back up. 51% from 3 on 9 attempts per game over his last 4 games. 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He's good. He's good. The Raptors are good. And this season's a wash for them. They're just seeing how the young guys can hoop. And if the young guys can hoop like this, the future looks really bright.
I just got an alert on my phone from Bleacher Report that said Pixar didn't happen. Why people are doubting Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game? Get out of my face, Bleacher Report. RJ Barrett he's like, I was expecting a fall off. I think other people were as well. After he got off to a hot start with the Raptors, but here we are like 20 games later or whatever. He's still demolishing it. And so you got to wonder, man, what if this guy could just make free throws at like a 70% clip? That would be pretty awesome. But yeah, he's playing so well. And I was trying to find out why he's playing well. And so I got some stats. So
all right,
he went from 54% of his rim attacks being assisted on to 74%. So basically they are like, he's not self-creating as much. He has less of a self-creation burden. They're getting him easier looks. His rim finishing percentage jumped from 57 to 70. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
His mid-range frequency is down. He's taking less mid-range shots, down from 33 to 25%, and he's taking more shots at the rim, up to 52 from 37. So more shots at the rim and more easy shots at the rim is really his blueprint for success, and he's just making threes. So he's just got to figure out how to make free throws.
When you watch the Raptors now and you watch the situations where he really excels, it's funny to be like, would that have happened next to Jalen Brunson? Were these situations like there very often? Because with Brunson, it's not so much like I'm leveraging all this, really like everyone's collapsing into the paint, and now I swing it to RJ and he like, cook, I don't want it anymore. You do your own thing. Whereas with the Raptors, the ball movement, I don't know. It's a little bit snappier. And like you said, he's getting assisted on those drives a lot more, and it's just easier. And that's not a condemnation of Brunson. It's just two very different styles of play, and especially with Randall in New York as well. It just doesn't fit what RJ seems to be good at right now. But I'm glad he got somewhere where he can fucking cook, because it is fun. It's fun. I don't know. I was holding my breath on the regression, because I was like, he's really good in Toronto, and every Knicks fan in every subreddit is like, we've seen it. He starts every year 40% from three, and he finishes like 34%. He's terrible after January, and now I don't know. Maybe the home country juice has just flooded into his veins, and now he's
syrup.
Yeah, the syrup, the Canadian super soldier, baby. I like that. Captain Canada.
On the opposite end, Bruce Brown has been horrific for them. He's shooting like 27% from three, 26% from three, and he's negative 124 as a Raptor.
Wow.
So,
Jokic merchant. Oh my god.
Yeah, and he's not making mid-range shots. He's down from 45% to 27%. So I think he yeah, I again, why didn't they move him? Why did they not trade him? Not the best move. Buy high, sell low. not a great thing.
Holding on to him and then picking up Olynyk when you need to re-sign him this offseason.
Oh my god, what is it? What's Masai up to?
What is he cooking up there? What the fuck, dude? Yeah, we have these three phenomenal 23-year-olds. Let's go get a bunch of okay role players, and Bruce Brown, it turns out he's not even okay anymore. So yeah, shout out to them. Who's below the Raptors?
Scotty's shooting 16% from three in his last 10 games.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put the shooting splits up there. It's gnarly, but he's good, you know. Overall, the season is an improvement as a 3-point shooter. So we can have rough stretches here or there. Growth is not linear, people.
And Dick is back on the menu.
Dick is back on the menu. Dick has been fun. You watch Dick run around out there. They flop him out sometimes, and he does a lot of very interesting Dick away from the balls. It's like whoa, holy shit! This could really become something in the future. And so, yeah, it's been fun to watch for Toronto. Who's below them? Charlotte's below them. Speaking of non-linear growth, the Yapper, Grant Yapper Williams, he's regressed, baby. 1-3 record in their last 4, lost to the Bucks twice, the Warriors once, and then they beat the Trailblazers. I do not expect them to beat the Warriors or the Bucks, so this doesn't really surprise me. But yeah, Grant Williams, 9 points, 4 rebounds on 55% true shooting in his last 4 games. Not good stuff. And other than that, just force feed Trey Man developmental minutes. That's all I said. That's my only take on the Hornets right now.
They have a new head of basketball operations. Woo! Jeff Peterson. They poached him from the Brooklyn Nets. And so you might be thinking, how good could an exec of the Brooklyn Nets be? I mean, they're not doing too hot. But apparently this guy's so good that the Nets wanted to keep him. They're like, hey, we'll give you a raise and we'll bump you up. We'll give you a new title. But I don't think it actually came with new responsibilities. So he turned that down, and it seems he is they were willing to give him a promotion to GM, but then Sean Marks would have just been moved up ahead. So Sean Marks will still be calling the shots. But yeah, so could he get the Hornets back on track? Who knows? And also they're getting Poku.
They are getting Poku. The Charlotte Thunder is coming together slowly but surely. I like it. I predict next they're going to get Josh Giddey. Maybe horrific playoff series. The trade value plummets. Charlotte picks him up as well. Yeah, that's literally all I have for the Hornets. Do you have any closing thoughts on them?
Josh Giddey and a first. Josh Giddey and multiple firsts maybe for Mark Williams.
Ooh, you are cooking with oil. I like that. Okay, so I love Mark Williams. He's fun. I love him and Jay. Just give me a buff 20-year-old. That's all we need. That's the blueprint, baby. 7 feet tall. Baby. The standings have changed. Holy shit. This is fun. Now we're past the Hornets. We're into the real mud here. The Detroit Pistons, baby. Your new 14 seed in the Eastern Conference. 1-3 in their last 4. They beat the Bulls. They lost to the Knicks, the Magic, and the Pacers. Lobbyist request is Cade Cunningham's last 4 games. Do you have these written down? Do you want to talk about them? You want me to cook on them? What do you want?
He is going crazy. 29, 6-6 on 59, 57, 80 shooting. So he's going absolutely bonkers.
I have a would you rather with Cade. You want to cook?
Let's roll.
All right, Kobe White.
Well, is it? Well, what's the situation?
I don't know. Let's say.
Am I starting my franchise with them, or
what situation would you want Kobe White over Cade Cunningham in?
If you have to be a role player, if you have to be like a complimentary, like
okay,
like what team? I don't know. If you just need someone to shoot, because Cade he's shooting better now, but still, I don't know. We'll say Cade.
Okay, this is going to be a building block of your franchise. Let's say that they're not a role player.
I'll start with Cade. He's bigger.
Okay. Then I have
slower though.
Yeah, Kobe. Oh my God, he just walked past. For audio only listeners, Franz Wagner. Who'd you rather have?
Oh, that's interesting. Probably Cade. Yeah, probably Cade.
I'm riding with Cade. Okay, Pablo. That's the third question. Little magic double take.
Cade.
Cade. Oh God, we're lucky. Damn. Only the real lobbyists are locked in this late in the episode. So our Pablo hate doesn't leak out into the public quite as much as it probably deserves to. Tyrese Maxey or Cade Cunningham?
Oh, Cade for sure.
Oh shit! Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Chet Holmgren.
Oh, I love a good stretch 5. I think I would have to go Chet here because if there's no Wemby, then we are all freaking out about Chet.
I know, it's so sad. It's so unfair to Chet to be. He's like, It's really rare to see a guy like built like me who could move like me, and I do all this super unique stuff, and I mean, I'm just like, I'm so impactful right away. And then Wemby's like, well, I'm like a once in a lifetime kind of player. I do all that stuff, but better and cooler. And
man, flashback to year 2 of the 2018 draft class. Trae Young is averaging 29 and 9 on a trash team. He's throwing some of the craziest passes you'll ever see, and people are like, he's ass. Well, I see Luka do that. He's taller.
Yeah, I'd like to. This guy's got a pretty solid defensive ceiling, right? He's like barely 6 feet tall, right? Yeah, we got it, people. All right, yeah. Shout out to the Pistons. I probably, I would maybe go Cade over Maxey. I like Cade. Cade's defensive flashes. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. This is exciting. He's having a guard who's 6'6" and is a really good passer like that. Feels kind of like a cheat code. But I would definitely go Chet over Cade. I singled out Simone Fontecchio as a fun little Detroit. He's in 7 games with the Pistons. He's 15, 3-2 on 60% true shooting, 42% from 3 on over 6 attempts per game. I don't know. It's fine to have good role players if you're a bad team. I don't like it when bad teams have good role players, though. I want to see, like, if you're good, if you can help a winning team, get on a winning team. What are you doing in Detroit? So shout out Simone Fontecchio.
I'm happy he's not sitting in front of Bryce Sensabaugh anymore. He was one of those guys sucking up his minutes. Now we just need get Clarkson on this Pistons team.
How about Bryce hit 40% from the field first? How about we
shut up? He didn't get volume. Give him volume. Let him cook.
I was on bet. I just popped in. I'll pop in on Bryce's reference page every once in a while. I'm like, oh. Okay, I'd see it. It's good. The 3-point percentage looks good. 36% from 3. We're fine. We're chilling.
He went over 2 the other night because that coward Jordan Clarkson went 2 for 10.
Holy shit. Who deserves more smoke, you know? According to Deion Waiters, probably Sensabaugh. But it feels this is my last Pistons point. It feels like the Pistons and the Wizards have kind of literally flipped places, first of all. But second of all, like at the beginning of the season, it was like, okay, both of these teams suck, but it does feel like the Pistons are on like a different tier. Like they are worse in like a lot of noticeable ways. And now when I watch them both, I'm like, oh, the Pistons are just kind of like losing these close games because Asar gets tackled or whatever. like just bullshit. Or Pablo hits the craziest fucking shot we've seen in a couple weeks. Like those are why the Pistons are losing
the travel
games.
and the tackle.
Yeah. Yeah, lethal combination. The Wizards are losing games because like they'll just throw the ball to the other team and shit like that. It's like terrible execution.
Every game Jordan Poole is on Shacked and a Fool for something.
I know. He's rivaling prime JaVale McGee. JaVale's Sukuna, Jordan Poole's our Gojo right now. And we gotta get them in a game together. Yeah, that's the Wizards. Now we're at the Wizards. Now we're at the bottom of the East. The official number one worst record in the league at this point. It's like, don't be that team. Kyle Kuzma once said that, and now
It's
they
not
are
aging
that
well.
team. Oh my God. Why would you? I don't know. It's the social media era, and I like Kuzma. He's a good follow on Twitter. He says funny stuff, but damn, that's a tough take. It would almost be funnier if there was just like this tweet has been deleted screenshots going around. Like the fact that it's still up, it's just like, ooh, that's tender. Washington is 0-4 in this week. They lost to the Thunder, Warriors, Cavs, and the Lakers. They're in the middle of a 13-game losing streak, which, to be fair, this streak is like Celtics, Warriors, Thunder, Lakers. Like it's just a ton of like really good teams that most like the Nets would be on a big losing streak here as well. But if they were to lose 27 straight games, their 28th game would be against the Pistons right now to maybe tie their losing record for this season. So I hope it happens. I think that would be fun, but I'm not sure. Maybe Jordan Poole can pull one out because he's kind of been cooking lately. Do you have any thoughts on Washington at all?
All right. First off, warning everybody, I have to turn on my car to charge my phone. You're gonna hear some noises. It's all okay.
Ding.
It's all right.
I like that you're talking us like we're an animal giving birth or something. It's okay. It's all right.
All right. So I have something to read here. So I went on the Wizards. Oh wait, let me make sure Bluetooth is off. Okay. You can still hear me, right?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hey guys, when your car connects to Bluetooth to your phone when you don't want it to happen, who can relate? I went on the Wizards subreddit, and this guy, there was a post titled, "Are we a disgrace to the NBA?" And so I want to read to you what this guy wrote. I didn't write down his username. Shout out to this guy. You could go to the Wizards subreddit if you want to see this. He said, "No real head coach, former not Nepo hire, but clearly Nepo hire coach did not work out." They're talking about Wes Unseld Jr. Jordan Poole is the worst contract in the NBA. Our number one guy, Kuz, would be off the bench on a finals team. Our money-crazed owner is currently putting the state of Virginia through one of the most controversial and worst tax burdens of all time for the sole benefit of building an arena in a worse location that nobody thought needed to be rebuilt. Bottom 5 offense, bottom 5 defense, bottom 5 game attendance. Our best hope is a raw prospect that wouldn't even be starting above the talent that Detroit and Charlotte have. Our second best hope is a guy that flips a coin to decide which face he'll show every night. Every single player on our team would be benefiting the NBA more if they either did not play or were on another team.
Oh my God.
Simply by being on the Wizards, our players are assumed to be bad. No one realized that Gafford was actually good until he got traded. The same thing is going to happen to DeLon Wright. That's it. What a depressing post.
Holy fuck. That's like, I mean, somebody check in on that guy, whatever his username is. That's fucking crazy, dude. And the worst part is like bars, absolute bars. Did he lie a single time? Not really. Like it's an embarrassing moment for the franchise that has been just mid for decades. But like this is the lowest I can. Fuck, man. Like, it sucks when you're in the midst of the Bradley Beal era, kind of like you and the Bulls and the DeMar DeRozan era right now. When you're stuck in mid, it's like, what could be worse than this? And now you have the direction in Washington, but it's like, this is not, I wouldn't qualify this as better. This is just different. And so, yeah, shut up. It's not nice to talk about Bilal Coulibaly that way. He might be starting. He's a nice 3-and-D piece. He's got a good ceiling. I'm curious.
Hey, he might be starting in San Antonio for a favor.
Oh fuck! Oh man. Okay. Is the guy who flips a coin? Is that Denny? Is that who we're talking about?
I think
here?
that's Jordan Poole.
Oh well. I mean, hey, Jordan Poole this week, 3 games with 20+ points. He scored 30 twice. He's the only reason
that coin flip is getting lucky.
Yeah,
Harvey
man.
Dent
He's
style.
got it loaded. Yeah. You make the decision, Jordan Poole. Put the coin down. Also, Marvin Bagley, 23 points on 79% true shooting.
Bag watch.
Bag watch, bag talk. And that was against Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, 40 points, 72% true shooting. Kind of like an inefficient shot chucker type player, kind of just like volume shooting, whereas Bagley is like really letting his teammates cook and just like very efficient with his touches. He's like an automatic bucket kind of guy. And so that was really nice to see. They didn't pull it out over the Lakers. I still qualify it as a Bagley masterclass. He was in his bag that night. It was a great game.
What does Davis do that Bagley can't? Because they both jump, they both dunk, they both rebound. I've seen Bagley block a shot. I've seen Davis block a shot.
That's what I'm saying. And so, like, really, it's like Bagley, Davis, Wembanyama, all in kind of like a group. When you watch them play, you see shades of each other. And Drummond. Oh my god,
it's a lot of rebounds.
I had to explain to my girlfriend just like the entire arc of Drummond's career. Where it's like 2015 and people are like, this guy's a Hall of Famer. Look, he's the best rebounder in the league. And then like other people are like, well, he's shooting like 52% at the rim, and he's like he can't catch in the pick and roll, and there's a lot of flaws, and those never panned out. But he'll still pull down 30 rebounds if you give him the opportunity. So yeah, I guess Drummond, Bagley, Anthony Davis, Wembanyama. It is kind of like its own tier of player in a league of their own, as they say. Yeah. That's the entire East. Do you have any substantial thoughts on the Wizards to close it out?
I don't think so. I like their pink. How often do they wear those pink cherry blossom jerseys?
I think it'll come in more over the coming weeks because the cherry blossoms, they bloom during the spring. So like the branding kind of shifts its focus around that towards the final third of the season. I like them too, though. They're cool. It sucks that it only happens for one part of the year because the rest of the year, nothing's magical about the Wizards branding right now. Like, it sucks. It's not fun. Oh, I tell you what is fun, though. Hold on. This is for the visual listeners.
Whoa! Where's he going? I'm in suspense, just like everybody else. I don't know what if he brings out a gun that can shoot people through the internet? That would be bad for me.
We went to the what'd you say?
Nothing.
You fucker. We went to the Wizards game, and they gave out these for free. A Lego. It's like a boundary stone for like where they set up the edge of Washington D.C. And so it's like a little Lego thing that you got to build. It's literally just like a rectangle, but it's pretty cool. I don't know. So yeah, shout out to the Wizards for that. They've had some fun free stuff this year.
You got to get people going somehow.
I know. Holy shit. And we were there at the game, and I was like, this is the emptiest I've ever seen it here. And she was like, it's always empty before they start. And it was like 10 minutes before tip off. And I was like, well, it's not like we showed up like 40 minutes ahead of time trying to get like something. It's empty right now. And it did fill in a little bit, but it's wild to contrast them with like Chicago, the number 1 attendance in the league. Like
people who show up to watch slop. How there should be There should be a game show that is Joe Biden going to a Wizards game, and you have to bet on how long before he falls asleep.
Oh my god, it'd be hard to because they do. There's a lot of lights. It's very loud in there. I suppose it's kind of where he's
Can he
sitting.
see the light? I don't know. Can
I
he
don't
hear?
know. Can it? I mean, if you put him into those
How
lights,
many of the five senses are still intact?
well, I think if you put it that many flashing lights, he's dead. He's passing away. The bass would shake around his organs inside of him a little too much, and like I don't know, his liver would disintegrate. And yeah, they'd have to blow the roof off the building to airlift him out of there. It'd be exciting, but I don't know how.
Jordan Poole with Jill Biden in attendance. Could be a big game.
Baddie sideline, little teacher's baddie sideline.
That fraud. Let me rant about Jill Biden. Screw Jill Biden. She talks all this game. Oh, I'm a community college professor. I love community college. I'll get my husband to make community college free. Here we are 4 years later, Jill Biden. Where's it at? Where's it at? Turns out does your husband hate you? Or are you a fraud doctor? I don't know. Which is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I remember when Joe Biden won, there was some people in my life, like the day of, that were like, I just can't believe there's a woman in the White House now. We're talking about Kamala Harris. And I was in like the back seat of the car listening to this. And I was just like, I've never wanted to just open the door and jump out of a moving vehicle faster. This is horrific. And so I don't know. Shout out Kamala. Shout out Jill Biden. I don't know what they're gonna do. We could cook about this after the podcast is uploading. We don't need to get this explicitly political right now, but there's been some stuff going on with some votes. It's kind of crazy, people. So yeah, make sure to participate in elections. Speaking of, well, nobody votes on these. We vote on them inside of our hearts. Do you want to get to the awards?
Oh yes, the real voting, because don't show up for the U.S. election, guys. We're in season.
Jeremy Lin, Player of the Week. This is fun because I zagged with mine. Who do you have?
Cade Cunningham. I went with Cade Cunningham.
Ooh, I thought about
6 and 6 on crazy efficiency. I'm rewarding him. If Dante DiVincenzo didn't attempt murder. And what was the other? Oh, and Paolo Banchero didn't tear up the rule book on fire. Then we'd be winning.
Yeah, shout out Cade. He was a finalist. He was my honorable mention. I had Bam Adebayo. This is mostly for the Kings win. No Butler, no Hero, no Rozier. They still beat the Kings. Can you say better than Sabonis? I don't know.
That's the MVP. That's more triple doubles and double doubles than anybody else.
Well, that's how they decide it. That's how it's been since Westbrook. 22 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 60% true shooting. Miami has been phenomenal defensively. He's kind of been the rock on which they've based their play over the past several weeks. Shout out to Bam Adebayo. Ferris Bueller's week off. Me personally, Tobias hair ass. Get his ass out of here. Philadelphia's 1-3 this week. He averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 32, 26, 100 shooting splits. RJ Barrett could learn a thing or two. That is 39% true shooting. He had 0 assists in their last 2 games this week. Now, I tweeted out a few, like, at the beginning of this week. I was like the Tobias Harris, Philadelphia 76ers fans, the relationship between those two things might be the worst thing in basketball. Like, they fucking hate him. And I was like, oh, he's bad. I don't know. I didn't really, this week, it hammered it home for me. I was like, this is not a good basketball player. He is so fucking bad. So, yeah, I don't know if he's going to bounce back from this. Maybe he'll get back up to, like, a mildly efficient 17, but this is a bad stretch, Tobias.
Yeah, they're like sagging off him when he's in the corner, and it's like this is your shooter guy. That's not good. But yeah, he was one. I wrote down 2 guys, either or, and so one of them was Tobias, and the other was JB Bickerstaff. That let everyone know the coaches can get this too. If you don't play Sam Merrill and you lose, double overtime. Oh, I sounded like I was from Baltimore there. Lose.
Lose.
Yeah, you can't can't not play Sam Merrill on the second night of a back-to-back in double overtime and play the shooter. You're fumbling, JB. So get back on track.
Yeah. JB, I could stand for something. Just biding time till he's rich enough to retire, maybe. I don't know.
Shout out JB Pritzker, the biggest and the best politician in the country.
Is that the guy from? Is he like based in Chicago?
He's the governor of Illinois. He's like, I mean, a relative, relatively to everyone else, but he's like, yeah, he's a billionaire who the campaign ad attacks on him. They were like, he removed all his toilets out of his house for tax breaks and stuff like that, and he's just like this gigantic guy. But it turns out he's making some good choices. He's like, the White Sox want money for a new stadium. I'm not giving it to them.
Hell yeah. All right, I can get behind that. Get your own money, broke ass. You guys can buy all these socks.
Freaking the 22nd most valuable sports franchise in the world, according to Forbes, the Bulls are. The Bears are number 12. What are they spending that on? Soap?
So get your bread up, people. Forks, cousin Richie comeback player of the week. Who did you have? You go first.
I had Tyrese Maxey. I considered Cade, but I was like, I'll make him the MVP, and I'll say Maxey because Maxey I was a little down on. Now he's playing okay.
That's me with Emmanuel Quickly. I had Quickly. He's won the bad award. He's won the Ferris Bueller's Week Off a couple times for me, so I thought I'd reward him. Raptors 3-1 this week. 24, 6-5, 65% true shooting. He's 47% on catch and shoot threes this week. He's 55% on pull up threes this week.
Ooh.
He's cooking, man. He's cooking. The flashes are there. If we could just eliminate those like 8-10 game stretches where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be 39% from the field this week. Those are not super fun. Joe Johnson, clutch player of the week. I figure we got the same one here. Max Strus.
Yeah. But okay. Who else? Someone else made a big game winner.
I had Pablo as my runner-up.
Yeah, that's the other one. Other one. But yeah,
because I literally forgot about Max Strus, and so I had Pablo written down. And I was like, "What else happened?" Okay, yeah, he won. The 60-foot game winner wins the award. Same way.
Because it's further away, and also he didn't cheat.
He didn't cheat. He didn't tear up and burn.
It's legitimate.
Yeah, it actually counts. That one, the Pistons fan who like 10 years from now is committed to the bit. Yeah, the Magic were actually a 45-win team. They didn't win that one against the Pistons. Doesn't count in my book, baby. All right, that's all the awards. That's everything. A calm little hour 55. Is there any? I don't know. Have you cranked out any content lately that you want to plug?
I'm getting back on my TikTok grind. I'm trying to post 5 videos a day. So head on over to the TikTok. We're gonna see some things. All
right. I got one to post. I'm trying to think of what it is. Maybe I have the screenshots in my photo folder right now. It'll be up by the time these people are listening. So if you want to steal this idea and just be super unoriginal, that's honestly kind of based and fun. Oh, it's talking about the Wizards being the worst team in the league now, and how they might end up losing to the Pistons at that one point. So shout out to that. Go check that out in the future if you're listening right now. Follow me on Twitter. I got a banger off you yesterday. You posted that Victor Wembanyama thing. The history is written by the Victors. My tweet's sitting at 10K. Your tweet's sitting at 4K. So
he exploited. Oh, I'm at 4K. Wow.
Yeah, I quoted it. Literally just said bars, and so I'm kind of like yeah. If this were like a rubber plantation and you were the indigenous people, I'm kind of like the British company posted up in my cool my big pith helmet, just hanging out, being mad at you guys. So yeah, shout out to Twitter. Go check that out. Jokic Joestar, HTTC TV. What's your @ on Twitter?
What is it? Hot Tunes TV China NBA whatever that is abbreviated.
Okay, you guys put in the elbow grease there. All right, thank you all for listening. Go check out the fucking Patreon, baby. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Woo!